Coming up on Here's the Truth with Georgia Ford. A nearly $9 million settlement reveals more victims of Derek Chauvin's brutality.
Ow! You gonna slam me on the ground? Just like all other black people, huh?
And a grieving family remembers the life of Daunte Wright.
Even though he was taken from us, he shined so bright when he was here, and he's going to continue to shine bright even in death.
Plus, how they're impacted by the upcoming release of the cop who took his life.
The goal of Rondo was to stay right here, to invest right here, to thrive right here.
And St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter rolls out a plan to mend the city's ugly history behind a major highway. Then a joyride with youth choir director Courtland Pickens. Here's the Truth starts right now. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm independent journalist Georgia Ford. We begin with community standing behind a family's healing journey after the loss of a young man they called son, brother, and dad. Daunte Wright is still in the hearts and minds of many 2 years after his life was taken at the hands of a Brooklyn Center police officer. A special angelversary ceremony to honor the life of Daunte Wright.
Grab one. You gotta hold on to it.
It was held outside the Brooklyn Center Police Department where Kimberly Potter worked, the responding officer who gunned down Daunte during a traffic stop in 2021.
We did extend an offer to the new police chief of Brooklyn Center to release a balloon with us. And he is not here.
Releasing balloons for Daunte and the others that have also lost a loved one at the hands of police.
Because that's ultimately what we're trying to do, is make it so nobody else's name ends up on this freaking horrible list that our loved ones are on.
It is definitely re-traumatizing, but it hurts to have to be able to tell that story. But I'll continue to tell this story as many times as I need to until I can guarantee that my daughter, who is driving right now, will be safe driving in a community that may or may not have people that look like her driving in it. I'll continue to say the story no matter how hard it hurts.
Daunte's parents say the holidays are the hardest when coping with the loss of their son, but the support from the community keeps them pushing through.
I want to say thank you to the community, because without them, they haven't, the love and support that they showed us has been so overwhelming.
The things that our family did receive, like immediate release of the body cam footage, it was because community was out there. It wasn't because Brooklyn Center wanted to be nice and wanted to be a community that was going to do the right thing, right? It was because of community members.
How can the community continue to support your family?
To say Daunte's name, to continue to tell his story, also making sure that we continue to push for policy changes.
His parents say this year Daunte would be 22.
Having dinner with us is hard because he would always be there to taste the food before it was served or dig in the pots with a spoon because he wanted to know before everybody ate it if it was good or not. And
on April 24th, Kimberly Potter is supposed to be released. How does that make you feel?
Angry, hurt, disappointed. She has 2 sons that she's going to be able to go home to. She's going to be able to hold them, touch them, hear their voice. And that's something that she took from me.
Why we sit here and celebrate and throw balloons in the air because we don't have our son to hold, we don't have our son to touch. Every day I'm afraid I'm going to forget his voice. And no matter how bad I want to believe that it was an accident, I can't in my heart even muster those words to come out of my mouth because of so many incidents, so many opportunities that she had to say sorry, to apologize, to not smile in her mugshot, to say my son's name, to save him when he was dying and she was rolling on the floor. There were so many things that could have showed some kind of remorse and empathy from her that she did not give me or my family or my son.
Former officer Kim Potter was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 2 years in prison in 2021, lower than Minnesota's recommended guidelines for sentencing.
Yeah, and as they get closer and closer to the date of her being released, it's like a cloud over our head. So it's a hurtful thing. It's very hurtful, you know, and I keep to myself and I don't say much about it, but it's shameful, man. Just to know that this lady is gonna be walking around free after so little time, and my son, we never gonna see him again.
Now Dante's family wants everyone to remember him for the loving son, brother, and dad they knew him to be.
He had an amazing smile. He was always making sure that everybody was happy and smiling. He was big on family. Like, family was his main priority, and it hurt so bad that he's not able to create his own family because his son was so young when he was killed.
I would really want people to remember my son and what happened to him as they teach their children, especially people of color, teach your children how to interact with police, because it could happen to anyone. Because something like this we never thought would happen to us.
I always tell everybody, even though he was taken from us, he shined so bright when he was here, and he's going to continue to shine bright even in death.
Our next story may be difficult for some to watch.
Please don't. You gotta tell him I didn't.
A nearly $9 million settlement has revealed more victims of ex-MPD officer Derek Chauvin.
Take my glasses off. Ow!
John Pope and Zoya Code both filed excessive force suits against Chauvin and the city of Minneapolis, claiming his actions in each case mirrored the behavior that led to the murder of George Floyd. The never-seen-before body cam footage was released this week.
Ow! You gonna slam me on the ground? Just like all the other black people, huh?
Chauvin is seen pressing his knee and body weight on Zoya's neck for 4 minutes and 41 seconds and choking 14-year-old John, pinning him to the floor with his knee. Chauvin's use of force was approved by his superiors both times. Turning now to a story we first brought you on a previous episode of Here's the Truth. The Duluth branch of the NAACP is calling on St. Louis County officials to drop firearm possession charges against Stephen Cooper. Last summer, Stephen Cooper was arrested for possession of a firearm after turning in his deceased brother's gun to police, which was a violation of his parole.
I definitely feel like I was betrayed, man. I felt like I was given a false sense of you can trust me, and I am here for you. So if no support is given to this situation, then there is a very high chance, in my opinion, of a silent conviction. And that's what happens a lot, you know. But FYI, there will be no deals here, you know. There will be no settlements or anything. We're fighting. I'm not just fighting for me, I'm fighting for everybody.
NAACP leaders say Cooper is a goodwill citizen and called law enforcement's actions unjust. Cooper tells us he has no regrets, even if his future is uncertain.
I believe I did the right thing. I know I did the right thing. I don't place that blame on myself, you know. That's a flaw with the law. I just think if a regular citizen with no record, with no stain on him, was to have did the same thing I did and call into law enforcement or whoever, any type of government official, and they was to say, hey, this is what I found, and I think you guys should come and get this thing, that they would have been on the news with a certificate of gratitude for contributing to public safety, you know. And the exact opposite happened to me. So, yeah, I've lost faith in the system.
If convicted, Cooper would face at least 5 years in prison. We'll be sure to keep you in the know as this story continues to develop.
The goal of Rondo was to stay right here, to invest right here, to thrive right here, and our children were able to see it.
City of St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter is leaning into continuing the legacy of the Rondo community. Mayor Carter's office has opened the application window for the Rondo Inheritance Fund, a way for community members to get forgivable loans for down payment assistance for a home or for emergency repairs or remodels. The program has a $2 million allocation to descendants of the once thriving Black neighborhood that was uprooted by I-94 in the 60s, and a neighborhood that is embedded in the mayor's bloodline.
This is very personal for me and my family. Some of my earliest memories are driving on I-94 just right around the Dale Street Bridge, and my dad saying, okay, you're in my bedroom right now, and telling us a story about this community. My grandparents owned over a half a dozen properties, commercial and rental properties on Rondo, and certainly I hope with the Inheritance Fund is when we say the word Rondo, we're not talking about something that used to be 50 years from now, but we're talking about a future that we're excited about.
The mayor says this is a way to address the losses Black homeowners felt during that time and to bridge the gap in Black home ownership in the Twin Cities, where the racial home ownership gap is the largest in the nation. According to Urban Institute data, Black families own homes at less than 1/3 the rate of white families.
One of the challenges in communities like ours is we have this mantra of people saying we're working with the goal of sort of getting out of the hood. And the challenge of that is the people from our neighborhood who become lawyers, the people from our neighborhood who become scientists, the people who come from our neighborhood who become doctors, if they move out of our community, then our children can literally never see it. And our children grow up thinking nobody from this block has ever grown up to be a teacher. Nobody from this block has ever grown up to be a professional or a lawyer or a doctor, because I look around and I can't see it. And so we do see this as a strategy to address those home ownership disparities. And we're hopeful that other cities and other communities will look at it as a potential national model.
To see if you meet the eligibility requirements and to apply, visit the city's website at stpaul.gov. And a Brooklyn Park teacher is in the spotlight for building up the next generation.
I'm too old to do TikTok?
Yes, you're older.
And later we go on a joyride with Courtland Pickens.
The good times.
They were good.
They made us laugh.
They made us laugh. We was rolling.
Outweighed the bad.
That's right.
Oh.
Get access to extended interviews and exclusive content by becoming a monthly subscriber. Support the truth. Go to georgiafort.com, select support, and become a monthly subscriber today.
Are you ready to get in the best shape of your life? At Sir Boxing Club, we offer high-intensity workouts that will push you to your limits and help you reach your fitness goals. Our gym is equipped with state-of-the-art equipment and a family atmosphere. Experienced trainers will guide you every step of the way, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned fighter. Come join us today and start your journey towards a stronger, healthier you. Are you looking for a unique shopping experience? One that celebrates and supports Black businesses and culture. Introducing the Black Market, the ultimate destination for all your shopping, eating, and entertainment needs. At the Black Market, you'll find over 70 Black-owned vendors, all under one roof. From food and fashion to books and art, there's something for everyone at the Black Market. So come visit on the second Saturday of the month from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. to experience the best of what Black businesses have to offer. Visit the Black Market today and show your support for Black businesses and culture. Black business is beautiful at the Black Market.
When you look back and reflect on your grade school experience, the likelihood of you having a Black male teacher are slim to none. But Thetis White is changing that narrative at Monroe Elementary, and he's leading the charge with his heart.
Keithan's gonna walk us through it. Okay. Who else's name is Keithan in here? All right, let's make sure we direct our attention up front.
Thetis White is an educator at Monroe Elementary in Brooklyn Park.
I'm too old to do TikTok. That's hilarious.
I'm too old to do TikTok?
Yes, you're older.
He uses his personality to captivate the minds of his 5th grade class.
She is something else. I can't believe you said that.
All of my students have unique talents. I see them all. I don't
You know, I don't have a favorite in my room. They are all my favorites.
Mr. White is a former high school football coach turned educator teaching life's playbook through love.
She said I can't dance, and I take that personally.
That's true.
Sounds like a challenge to me.
I really pride myself on telling my students that I love them like that, because I really do. They're my babies, but they're also my future.
This is the great words of Mattia. Don't be basic. Perfect.
He says he got into teaching because he wanted to spend more time with kids all year round.
Overall, I felt like it was a disservice to a lot of the student or the young men that I was coaching, because they did not see me in the classroom. They only saw me on the football field. And when you do the math, that's only 3 months out of the year where you have a small impact. I love coaching football, but now that I'm a teacher, it feels like this is the best job that I've ever had in my life.
Mr. White says the representation he displays is vital.
I know that when my students walk in my room, they get to finally see themselves at full strength, because once they walk out my door, we all know that they're not always going to see themselves once they walk out my door. So I really think that that's very important.
From the way he talks,
Oh, bet. I already got my guy.
to the clothes he wears, and to the walls of his classroom, he shows his scholars that positive black men show up on more than just the gridiron.
I looked at at my coaching staff a lot of the times, and it was a lot of us, you know, African-American men out there, but we weren't in the classroom. And I just felt like that was very necessary.
And so she was already fighting for those rights right then and there, wasn't she?
Mr. White is a part of Black Men Teach, a nonprofit aimed at recruiting and preparing black men to become grade school educators.
And they were like, just, you got this, we're gonna support you.
I mean, it's hard, man. It's hard not to like Mr. White if it doesn't matter who you are. I think he embodies everything we're looking for in the work that we do.
Marcus Flynn, the executive director of Black Men Teach, says teachers like Thetis are exactly what we need in Minnesota, a state home to one of the largest achievement gaps in the country between black and white students.
He has a former student who has a younger sibling that's at the same school that he teaches at. Every day during dismissal, she makes sure she goes out and finds this man, give him a hug, say bye, because she's heard so many stories from her brother when he goes home talking about the impact that this guy's had.
Of the 63,000 active teachers in Minnesota, less than 2% are black. That's why Marcus believes in the work he's doing and deeply understands the importance of shining a light on teachers like Mr. White.
So I think one of the things that we do that's more unique is we provide loan forgiveness for our men. We've committed for him $50,000 to help alleviate his student loan debt over the course of 5 years. So as he continues to teach, we just knock it off.
I do promise you guys I'm gonna be the very best teacher that I could possibly be for you guys. Appreciate it, man.
And they've really been there for me, like seriously. Not just, you know, that tuition reimbursement that came. Like, I couldn't thank them enough, because yes, I felt very deserving, but also when I say that, like, how should you feel deserving about something that you should be doing anyway?
A safe haven that holds deep reverence to him.
We got day one, $75. What is the running total? Put it in there.
I have a Hispanic young lady that, when I say her confidence level was not where it probably should have been, once I kind of got a hold of her and let her know that she was the smartest person in the room, she couldn't believe it. Good job. Thank you, Karen. All done. She showed me with tears of joy, but also hard work. She wants to be smart. I already told her she's smart. She knows that she's smart, but now she's actually wanting to show everybody that she's smart.
I know for a fact Karen knows.
But this is very important, because again, thinking about my own daughter right now. She got to visually see me go through the change of becoming an educator, and now she realizes how important education is. And she actually, you know, we talk about it, we laugh, but I don't even know where she's going, but I do know that I've inspired her as my own daughter, that now she knows that she can do more than just be what is expected of her, you know, as being in society. So I think that's very important. So, and as you can see, it's real. I'm just like that. I get emotional about this kind of stuff because it's real. My kids, I love them. I feel like this year's group is just one of the best groups I've kind of ever had.
I mean, the first day I walked in, I think I was in like February. I just knew this was like a special place.
Dominic Davis is an intern with Black Men Teach who works directly with Thetis every day.
I think like from like the first couple days, like I think he's kind of inspired me to like just be myself.
So this is too easy for you? What you trying to say, Ricky?
It's easy for some people.
But I think just like seeing Mr. White, like he's being himself, like he's talking to me, like how he talks to the kids, he's talking to other adults in the room, how he's talking to the kids, like he's just authentic.
Mr. White says he'll continue to pay it forward and show his kids that not only do Black men teach, but they're loving individuals too.
You know, I really pride myself on telling my students that I love them like that because I really do. They're my babies, but they're also my future.
Buckle up. After the break, we go on a joyride in North Minneapolis with one of the state's premier gospel voices and directors.
For me, watching these kids and fathering these kids, it's bigger than a choir for me.
I felt accomplished after I got my diploma. Made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan today for the tools and tips you need to protect that legacy.
To me, public functionary is the future. I think just this like rootedness in really early career artists, in emerging practices and emerging artists, it's sort of like this future-looking moment.
Public functionary to me has always been about artist support and providing opportunity and resources to artists, particularly artists who haven't had access to those opportunities in the past.
Public functionary is the place where
by Nail Partners. In this week's Joyride, we meet Courtland Pickens, a premier gospel director and singer in the state. He shows us how he hits all the right notes to lead a youth choir movement that's taking the Twin Cities by storm with their new single. We are on our way to Shiloh Temple to meet with Courtland Pickens, who is the director of Known MPLS. That is a youth choir that has been taking the Twin Cities by storm for several years. I mean, they've performed everywhere. Not only is Courtland incredible, and I can't wait to meet him, but more importantly, the impact that he's making with these youth in North Minneapolis is just unbelievable. All right, Courtland, you ready to roll?
I'm ready to roll.
So we right now are at Shiloh Temple, which I know is a ministry that's very significant, near and dear to your heart.
Yes, so I love Bishop Howell so much. When I told him I was starting my choir and I wanted to base our rehearsal space in North Minneapolis, I mentioned it to Bishop Howell and he, with open arms, said, "Son, absolutely." And we've been there ever since. In prayer one day, the Lord was just like, because you said yes to this, I'm going to blow your mind. But I'm just like, how much are you going to blow my mind? Within the first month, we were doing big concerts, opening up for major artists within the first couple of months of our existence. And we still are getting huge opportunities. We about to stay booked and busy because the world needs to see us.
Absolutely. All right, well, we're going to Patrick Henry, right?
Yes.
That's where you graduated?
That's where I graduated.
Awesome.
20 years ago.
Oh my God. We getting old, Courtland. We getting old.
This is my 9th year actually teaching at Patrick Henry High School.
Wow.
So my class starts at 2:15 every day, the last hour of the day. Literally, students will come to school just to make it to my choir class.
Love it.
And I noticed that I kind of built a space in my classroom where kids wanted to be around me.
I love you so, so much.
Portland, oh,
You have been a big brother in ways that I could not even explain.
Every single day, every single thing you have done for me, I just appreciate it.
Even though sometimes you can't tell,
just know
you the foe to our skull. Period.
And so I asked a couple of my students, and I was like, if I started a choir, would you guys be interested? And there's like, for sure, like we'll definitely be down. And so I did it.
I'm so glad that you started this choir. It's actually one of the best parts of my day.
Courtland, that is incredible. And I can't help but think about the significance of a program like this, a choir that kids can connect to and be a part of and have structure and support on the backdrop of being in North Minneapolis, right?
My whole big motto is being the change that I want to see in my community. For me, watching these kids, it's bigger than a choir for me.
Everything that you're doing is incredible. The impact that you're making on this youth, how do you even measure that?
So I always knew that I would be doing something around this realm of things. So I didn't know the capacity though.
Yeah.
So.
Bless me, bless me, bless me, God. Death has been defeated, he is a victory.
I wake up every day and love the work that I'm doing.
We do too.
But so everyone around me can have everything they need.
Is it true that you had stage fright as a kid?
Oh my God, yes.
Really? How did you overcome that fear?
At some point I had to just face my fears and just do it. I'm still pretty nervous every time I sing or every time I'm on stage. I just take those deep breaths and I just channel. Well, first of all, I don't want nobody to record me and I look stupid. So that's first of all. So I'm like, you gotta look good for the camera.
You know what I feel like would be really good right now and so appropriate? Can you just hit us with It's So Hard to Say Goodbye?
How do I say goodbye to what we had.
Hey.
The good times.
They were good.
That made us laugh.
They made us laugh. We was rolling.
Outweighed the bad.
That's right.
Oh, I thought we get to see forever, but forever's gone away. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Today's Joyride is sponsored by Nail Partners, bringing a renewed approach to commercial real estate and urban planning. Thanks so much for watching Here's the Truth. For extended versions of these stories and more, head over to georgiafort.com. In the meantime, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next Saturday at 11. Coming up on Here's the Truth, a woman fights for justice for her sister after she was killed by home intruders.
We thought our fight was over, but I feel like it's just beginning.
And the inspiration behind Resma Menakem's new book.
I just wanted to have a book that people could grab and say, okay, there's something that I can do about this.
How the Minnesota New York Times bestselling author is leaving a legacy of healing. Plus, buckle up for a joyride with spoken word artist Miss Mari.
I'm in the city, I'm in Minneapolis, okay?
We popping out.
We in the streets now, no, just like.
Watch Here's the Truth with Georgia Fort Saturdays at 11 a.m. on the CW Twin Cities.